Good morning, sports fans. Tuesday morning, couple of days after the UK Open. I wanted to make a quick video from the heart about the process that I go through after such a tough loss. Pretty bitter pill to swallow. Of course, what happened during the match versus Melling on TV. First of all, I want to congratulate Kachi and Filler again for great results, great performances. And nice to see Kachi win his first major Matchroom title. And he's on a much better path than the last few years. Great young players. So nice to see these guys pushing through, scoring hard. Of course, my personal goal is to win another big Matchroom title. I'm not too concerned, so what some players might say, or people might say, that to get in the Mosconi Cup again, that would be great. But my main goal is to win another major Matchroom title, and that would put me in the team for sure. I can't and I won't play all the events throughout the year because I also have a young family that I want to see, so I have to choose left and right. Now, back to the situation during the match. What happened? Score was 7-6. I was feeling good. I was playing good. We had a good match, me and Chris. And I was chalking in the arena and half of my tip flew off. And I was left with a totally flat two-layer tip out there. It was a test tip. And I tried to give it some shape real quick. Didn't work. I put on my spare shaft. That was a different tip. Same shaft, different tip. Wasn't well played in. And that was the biggest lesson that I learned from this match, guys. This is for pro players, young players. We'll get to that in a minute because that's the mental part. Make sure you have two identical shafts with two identical tips and mix them up left and right when you're practicing so they're both like in identical condition. Because what happened to me, I get back to the table, I make a really great shot on the 7, but there was no spin on that ball. The next shot I got to shoot was an easy shot on the 8, and I put a little spin on and I miss it. Now that's where all the mental problems came in, because I really started to doubt myself and my tip and what was going on. And from there on, every shot became like a analysis process, like should I aim different, less spin to compensate, and it became too much in the end, and the pressure kept accumulating. And I ended up missing the 8. I got back home. That's where the process started. First of all, did it hurt? You better believe it. Did it hurt? What did I do? I had a good cry when I came back home. Took me a day. You know, we had a busy day with the kids. Finally had some time for myself to unwind and let it sink in. And I had a good cry during a meditation session, you know, and that's good, because otherwise it's going to just nag at you and eat at you. So don't be ashamed if some emotions are high and you got to let it out, for especially for youngsters. I mean, that's like a social bullshit thing. Like you got to be a tough guy. If you got to let it out with a trustworthy person around you, let it out, because it's going to save you a lot of weeks. I know a lot of players that keep talking about stuff for weeks and it's eating them up. So get rid of that. Have a good workout. That's what I do a lot. You know, this time the only thing available, as quick as possible, was a beer at the airport. It's not my regular routine, but it worked for the moment for an hour or two. But the next day I was on the bike and tried some healthy stuff. Now, that aside, so what do you do the next days? Right now, it's all about a choice. You got that emotion out. Look at the shot. What could you have done different, perhaps? I looked at it, and when I saw it back and the way I shot it with a tip of left, because I had to get out of that kitchen down table, and looking back at it and practicing it a few times, I didn't need that left spin. That left spin added a little bit of deflection to the shot. I also had to get my body over the 9 at that moment, which distracted me. I was looking back and forth, so I wasn't totally ready. I should have gotten up from the shot, get some water, wipe the towel, then get back and see what I needed to do, etc., etc. play the correct shot. That was a learning process. Second learning process was the shafts and the tips, make them identical. Big lesson. Then from there on, this is the lesson for all the youngsters and parents. I saw a lot of kids down there at the tournament, for example. So I was thinking, especially for them to make a video like this, it's all about the attitude from there. 5% is what happens to you. 95% is how you react to it. Okay, so there's a choice. Now, I read a lot of books. I read almost every night. And the recent book, I mean, it was perfect. I'm reading this book right now. It was perfect. There was a quote in it. If you want to know what this book is, fire me a message, because that's my secret weapons. And there was a quick passage I wanted to share with you guys. For example, you aren't a failure because you experienced a failure. You're a successful person who temporarily failed and is now returning to your natural state of success. I thought that was a beautiful quote that relates to this situation. Another 2 quotes I want to share from the book. A negative event is a single, isolated event that you can stop in its tracks and make sure it will never affect you or anything else in your life again. Choice. You got to choose how you take these things. Another one. You didn't miss out on your only shot at success. That negative experience will now lead to positive experience in the future because it has made you smarter and more prepared for the future. You're now wiser, more experienced, and one step closer to the inevitable success you've prepared yourself for. Nice quotes again. When I read that stuff, it makes me hopeful and fired up to get back to work. That's another thing. You know, you can choose to go down this negative spiral now. Eating bad, sleeping bad, bad habits, don't work out, maybe drink, whatever. You know, the thing is, if something happens that affects you that was hard, keep going on the right track. Eat well, sleep well, move well. Keep those things steady, sleep well. You know, and you keep your energy up, you keep your hope up, and you just keep pushing forward. And the last thing I wanted to say is about the critics, because I'm not on social media just because of this reason. I just personally, I don't have anything against anybody on that, but I don't want it in my life to read all these messages. It distracts me too much. I want to focus on trying to be the best that I can be. And for example, if you would miss a shot like this and I would read all the comments, I think you would flip out. So another nice one is from Teddy Roosevelt, former president. He wrote the Man in the Arena speech. I have my computer right here. I wanted to read this one out. I think it's pretty cool. On the pool table, boom. This is a big famous passage. It's not the critic who counts, so the person that criticizes you for doing something wrong, perhaps. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives violently, who errs, who comes short again and again because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I think that's a really powerful statement there for young upcoming players who maybe get a lot of criticism, who read a lot of criticism. My advice is don't read it, just don't go there. And this little passage here can really help you. So that's from the Terminator real quick. It's time to hit the practice table again, bike afterwards. That's why there's no gel or wax in the hair yet. Anyway, have a good day. nice long video here, by the way. Take care and see you at the Spanish Open, because that's coming up next. Ciao.